Hello, my scientist friends. You've been learning about how to describe the weather and measure the weather. Today, we're going to make something that helps us predict the weather, forecast it, so we can tell what kind of weather is coming soon. So that's useful. The thing that we're going to make today is a cloud chart. I'm using a dark piece of paper so that you can see my clouds better. If you have dark paper, that's great. If you don't, that's fine. You can use any kind of paper for this project. Please write cloud chart and the date on top. It can be lined paper or unlined. It can be in your notebook, whatever. We're going to be putting a bunch of different kinds of clouds here on our cloud chart. And I don't want to run out of room, so what I'm going to do is about halfway down my paper, I'm going to make a light pencil line on each side just to remind me where the halfway mark is. So that'll help me space out my clouds properly. All right, so we're going to make models of clouds and put them in our cloud chart. Real clouds, as you know, are made of tiny bits of water or ice crystals. We're going to use drawings or paper or cotton balls to model our clouds in our cloud chart. If you have cotton balls, you can use them for this. If you don't have cotton balls, that's fine. You can either just draw them or you can use a tissue that you separate and you can break it into little pieces and you can use that for your cloud models. Okay, so we're going to have a couple of different kinds of clouds and we're going to learn about which ones help us to tell whether we have a change in weather coming our way. So the first group of clouds is going to be our fair weather clouds. So I'm going to write fair weather, F-A-I-R, weather, W-E-A-T-H-E-R. Fair weather means it's not raining or snowing or any kind of precipitation. And we're going to have our first cloud here, and it's going to be called a Cumulus Cloud. Cumulus clouds are the puffy kinds of clouds that you can look at if you want to imagine seeing shapes in the clouds. So if you want to do some cloud gazing and imagine different kinds of animals or shapes or whatever, these are the kinds of clouds that are best for that. They look like fluffy cotton balls in the sky. We're going to draw them first. They just look like fluffy balls. Sometimes it's just one circle. Sometimes it's kind of a lumpy circle. Like blobs. If you're using tissues, crumple one up, make it into a ball, and glue it down. If you're using a cotton ball, it's so easy. You just stick down a cotton ball. Our second kind of cloud is called a stratus cloud. Stratus clouds. These are the kinds of clouds that cover the whole sky and they're like a big blanket. So if you looked at it from the side, it would look like a blanket in the sky. If you're using tissue, just use a thin strip of tissue. If you're using cotton balls, you need to stretch it out, make it into a thick layer. If you stand outside on a day when there are stratus clouds and you look up at the sky, it looks like the whole sky is covered with a thick gray blanket. Those are our stratus clouds. And then our third kind of fair weather cloud is called cirrus. These are tiny little wisps. Tiny little wisps up in the sky. They're little, they're skinny, sometimes they're curved. If you're using tissue, get tiny, tiny little pieces, skinny pieces. If you're using cotton ball, take a small, small bit. They're little, they're like little wisps. All three of these clouds here are fair weather clouds. If you see these clouds in the sky, it's probably not going to rain or snow or sleet or have any kind of precipitation today or coming soon. Those are our fair weather clouds. Okay, next we're going to move on to our storm clouds. So let's write stormy weather. Because the next kinds of clouds, number 4 and number 5, those are the clouds that usually mean that some storms or rain or snow are coming our way. So, cloud number 4 is called Cumulo Nimbus. Imagine you had a bunch of cumulus clouds, but instead of just a bunch of puffballs, you had like a giant pile of them. If you looked at them from the side, it would be like a mountain of puffballs. Cumulonimbus are cumulus clouds that have gotten really piled up and thick. If you looked at them from the side, it would be like a giant pile. And because they're so thick, they block out a lot of the sun. So if you looked at them from underneath, they would look dark. So I'm going to color mine darker because they're blocking out the sun. And if you're using cotton balls, you can make them dark at the bottom, or tissue, make them dark at the bottom, because they darken the sun. Okay, one last cloud. Strato Nimbus. Remember when the Cumulus Clouds changed into Cumulonimbus clouds by getting thicker? The same thing can happen to Stratus Clouds. They can get thicker. So Stratus Clouds, when they're a blanket that's gotten really, 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 really thick, they cover the whole sky, but it's a thicker layer. We call those Strato Nimbus clouds. They're so thick that they block out the sun. So if you look at them from below, they're dark. If you're using cotton balls or paper, you need to make a thick blanket, thick layer, and make it dark underneath. When you see this kind of cloud, Strato Nimbus, it probably means rain is coming, rain or snow. Strato Nimbus clouds, they cover the whole sky like a big thick blanket. So that's usually the kind of rain that lasts for a long time because they're so big and they move so slowly. The rain's going to last for hours and hours, maybe even all day. Cumulonimbus clouds are a little bit different. They're thick, they bring storms, but they don't cover the whole sky, so they don't usually stick around that long. Also, these are the kinds, Cumulonimbus kinds, those are the kinds that usually bring thunderstorms, thunder and lightning. So if you're concerned that thunder and lightning might be on the way, look for Cumulonimbus. They're really, really puffy, thick, but piled up so much that they darken at the bottom. All right, so now we have our cloud chart. Our cloud chart is done. So now you can use it to predict the weather. So next time you're outside, take a look up at the sky, see what kinds of clouds we have, and then check your cloud chart and see what it tells you. What kind of weather do we have coming? Fair weather or stormy weather? Please share a picture or video of your project with me. See you next time.